My mom died just before I announced that I was going to run in 2015. My mom died on December 27th of 2014, and at the age of 91.
Oh, what a wonderful life she lived.
Yeah.
Beautiful life.
But she still, I tell people, she still lives.
Yeah.
She lives in all of her kids.
Sure.
And so physically not present, but very much spiritually present.
Part of your life and decisions.
Right.
So let's talk about the neighborhood and the people you grew up with.
Right.
When you go back to your neighborhood, what's the reception you get there?
You know, it's a pretty good one. You know, Dr. Marie, I was born and reared in Northwest Houston in Acres Home.
Yeah.
I still live in Northwest Houston in Acres Home. But for the 3 years when I went away to law school, I returned back to the hood. And I still live there. And the reception is a very positive one. Sure. You know, because for me, it's my way of saying that you can come from very humble beginnings, and you can rise to the highest height. And instead of telling those kids that, when I am living right there in the neighborhood with them, they can see it every day.
Well, you're showing them.
You know, and not just kids in the neighborhood, in my neighborhood, but in same or similar neighborhoods all across the city, because they are gifted kids coming from all backgrounds, very humble beginnings, that are rising stars if we give them the opportunity.
Well, you talked about jumping in that truck with your father.
Yeah.
What was your first paying job?
I was an apprentice for an electrician out in Acres Home.
Okay, that sounds dangerous, Mayor.
Well, my mom knew I needed a summer job.
Okay.
And so Eugene Gully was an electrician at our church. And so my mom hooked me up with him. She came and told me I was going to be helping out with this electrician, Deacon. And so he picked me up the next day. We went to this house. He gave me this wire and told me to meet him on the other side. And so he started walking, and I started walking. He said, Sylvester, where are you going? He said, I want you to meet me on the other side. I said, what do you mean? He said, I want you to take this wire and go underneath the house, and I'll meet you on the other side. I said, you want me to go underneath the house? He said, how in the heck you gonna meet me on the other side? So I went underneath, and I got all muddied and everything. I came out on the other side. I was a mess, and I said to myself, I will not be coming back. I hated that job. And I went home and I told my mom, I'm not going back. I don't like the job. And so my mom said to me, she said, well, son, you don't have to go back. But she said, tomorrow, after I get you all ready to go to school and stuff, I'm gonna catch the bus, and I'm gonna go downtown, and I'm gonna clean those hotels, and I'm gonna clean people's restrooms, and I don't like the job either. But I do it because I have 9 miles to feed, okay? And that hit me. And so the next day, I was ready to go, and I was back out there again. Because she reminded me that there are some jobs we do, we don't like to do them, okay? But we do them because we have to, because other people are depending on us.
That's right.
And I've always remembered that.
And now the city of Houston is dependent on you with a lot of critical decisions outside of your inner circle, your daughter. Are there people that you confide in? I mean, I would imagine it's very difficult to have private conversations with folks, but you've got a handful of people that I'm sure are trusted advisors. Yeah,
you know, there are a number of people that I rely on, people who are gifted in different areas. But you know, the core is not very big. You know, I tell what people don't sometimes bear in mind is that being mayor can sometimes be a lonely job. And what I mean by that is that, you know, every day you're meeting a lot of people, you're interfacing with a lot of people. The moment when you can carve out a little time, you treasure that. But there are key people in different areas. Everybody has their area of expertise. What's important is to surround yourself with people who are capable of doing their jobs and doing their jobs well. I have no problem being surrounded by people who are smarter than me, okay? And I think the best thing is to always have people around you who are good at what they do in their respective arenas. I don't look for yes people. I don't mind being challenged. That's good. I'm fine with that. But in the end, our goal is to do what's best for the people in the city of Houston, and be very result oriented. If we do that, and if we only ask one question, what's in the best interest of the city, and answer that question, then we will have done our job.
So, as you continue in your role as mayor,
Yes.
what would be, if you could decide your legacy, what do you think your legacy would be?
A couple of things. This is the most diverse city within the city of Houston. If we just stop just talk about diversity and not have inclusiveness, then I fail. What's important is to have be in the most diverse city, but people feel as though it has been inclusive. That regardless of where people come from, if they can honestly say he was my mayor, regardless of their faith, their religion, their ethnicity, their age, their social economic status, then I'm good. The other thing is that there are neighborhoods that have been underserved and under-resourced for decades, okay? If we can transform those communities for the better, yes, but you're not forcing out people, you're not changing the culture of the history, but you still have that diversity, but their communities are much better than they used to, and not just in an incremental way, but their schools are better. They have parks and green space, jobs and economic opportunities, transportation. They're no longer the dumping grounds, but they are neighborhoods of opportunity all over this city. Then I will be pleased, and that's why we focus on complete communities. If we do that, and then this will always be a city that inspires. It will be a city that values and views diversity as an asset, and we will continue to be that welcoming city, and we'll be that shining city on a hill. If we do that, then I'm good.
Thank you, Mayor, for joining us, and congratulations on being selected as one of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce legends.
I'm honored. Thank you very much. Thank you.
On behalf of our board of directors and the staff of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we thank you for joining us, and we thank our guest, Mayor Sylvester Turner.